Okay, we are recording. All right. So what you're looking at is my back office. I am Sixo Serrano, founder of Faster Freedom Group, and the strategy that I use is the 15-minute strategy. And what I want to show you first is how to get the hourglass when I say cash trap strategy, what I'm using, how to get to it, how to purchase it. So for those of you, I don't know if everyone's part of IML here. I know some people aren't. But if you are part of IML, what you're going to do is, it should be, here we go, im.academy, okay? So once you have your information to log in, this is what it's gonna look like, the back office. And can you guys see this okay, the
Yes.
back office?
Yes.
Okay.
We see it fine. Yes.
All right, so you're gonna go to your back office and you are going to go to shopping cart, which actually I already had it open. And what you want to look for, it's probably not on here because I've already purchased it, so it's not gonna show, but it will. It should have been on the bottom right here next to HFX Freedom. And what you want to do is just click it and then putting your information and then order now. Okay, yes, I want to be billed, blah, 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 $29.95, order now. Okay, so then it'll add the strategy to, actually, let me unclick that. It'll add that strategy to, like, all this you can add. These are different strategies, the Go Cup, the bounce back strategy, pivot, swipe coin. I don't know if any of you are familiar with any of these, like the DeLorean. I've actually studied the DeLorean. It's a really good strategy as well, but that is for traditional Forex. So I'm not even going to get into that. Web Analyzer, when I first started the first apps that I started using was the Swipe Trades and Web Analyzer. I really don't have anything bad to say about them. They're good strategies and they work pretty well. But it just wasn't for me. It wasn't my type of style of trading. Actually, I didn't even know my type of style of trading until, I want to say, 6 months into like learning how to do Forex. When I started learning my own style, I'm more of a fast-paced action type of person, and I don't want to guess, like just how I was explaining yesterday. I don't want to guess how much I'm going to make. I'll be honest with you guys, I am a very forgetful person, and my wife gets on me all the time because I forget stuff. So being that I'm a forgetful person, I don't have to deal with stop loss and take profits, and I don't have to do all that stuff with traditional Forex. And that's why I love binary options. I know what I'm getting into. I know how much money I'm willing to risk. I know how much money I'm going to make. And I just love that fact. So I'm being real with you guys right now. So to get to your strategies, you're going to go to im.center once you've purchased it. And this is what it looks like here. And you're going to click strategies. I'll open that up. And this page will tell you what you have purchased. I'm only doing HFX. When I first started, I did the Forex Academy. I learned everything, about traditional Forex trading. And it's great. I don't have anything bad to say about that. It's a great, academy, or that part of IML, the Forex Academy. But I love HFX Academy. All right. So once you purchase it, see, I don't have Freedom. See how Freedom is black and white. So if I purchased it, it would have been in color. All right. So these are the two strategies that I have. I have Liberty and I have Hourglass. So we go to Hourglass. It'll come with the two strategies, which is the Gator and the cash trap strategy. So once it pulls up, the strategy will not load up automatically. You have to go up to the top left-hand corner and pick which one do you want, the blue gator or the cash trap. So click the cash trap and it will load up. The only pairs that the cash trap loads up are the Euro USD, USD CAD, and the USD JPY. They're the only 3 pairs. So if you were wondering, like, where's all the other pairs? How come it's not showing anything else? Well, Matty Pips, he was the one that created this strategy. So that's why IML uses this strategy, because it has a lot of success. And I mean, he started his account with 500 bucks, you know, and he's already at $1.4 million right now with this strategy. So it works. He's had a lot of success with it, but this is also the 3-minute strategy. So if you use this strategy, you're going to take trades for 3 minutes. And one of the rules are, if you're going to roll over with this strategy, it's 3 rollovers is the max. So he also has that rule just like me. 3 rollovers is the max. So, which is really good. And usually maybe I have to do like 1 rollover on a trade. I just needed a little bit more time before it went my way. But I've been testing this strategy for a while now, and it's actually pretty good. All you have to do is line up, like when this arrow comes out right here, what you want to look for when the arrow comes out, and first things first is go to your settings. You're going to see this little, says format. Click that, okay? Go to scales, and then click your countdown, all right? So the best way to use this strategy is you wait till a new 5-minute candle appears. And so that's why you want the timer on, all right? So you could just pay attention so you don't get into a trade at the wrong time, all right? So please take note of that, take some notes. Because if I see a good trade, I will trade, and we're gonna go live with the trading. So right now, this hasn't reached the bottom of the RSI and the stochastics. So these are the 2 indicators on the bottom. If you guys, it's because it doesn't show it here. They keep the indicators a secret, so you don't copy it and try to take it or whatnot. But I already have a strategy that's very similar to this. It's not exact, but it's very, very similar. But if you're using this is a 5-point system. It goes by points. So when the arrow comes out, that's 3 points, okay? And if the arrow is going up and the EMA, this is the 200 EMA right here, it's above it, that's 0.5 points you're gonna get. So you're gonna get a 0.5 point there. Now, if the arrow was still facing up and you had both the RSI and the stochastics pointing up, like both of these are giving up signals, each one is a 0.5 point. So right there, you would have already had 3 points with the arrow. You would have had the 0.5 point here, 0.5 point here, 0.5 point here. So this is 1 point together. So 3, 4 points, 3.5 points. Now, to use this strategy, you always have to go to the currency strength. All right, you always have to check the currency strength. So we're looking at the Euro USD right now. So you're going to go to livecharts.co.uk. This is the one that's is a favorite amongst a lot of traders, and always refresh it. Because if you don't refresh the page, you might get the wrong strength appearing on the page. So always refresh it when you go to it. And we were looking, okay, what were we looking at? We were looking at Euro USD. Okay, so Euro USD, we have 3 bars for Euro. So it's stronger than the US dollar. It's only 1 bar for the US dollar. So let's go back. So that means if we're looking at Euro USD, and if it's giving us an up arrow on Euro USD, then that means that's a good trade, because the strength is going with the direction of the arrow, okay, for that trade. Right now, it's going down. So you guys can answer this. You can unmute yourself or actually type in the chat, what would I be looking for as a trader what would I be looking for just looking at it? What type of setup would I be looking for?
Buy setup.
Yes, a buy setup. And the reason why I'm looking for a buy setup, because this is clear, it's clear that it's in a bullish trend. It's on an uptrend right now. So even though both the RSI and the stochastics are, going down, they're giving a down signal and your arrow is pointing down. Even though all this is going down, it's not agreeing with the strength. Okay, so euro is still stronger. It's got 3 bars. USD is weaker than euro. So this wouldn't be a trade that I would get in, even though you probably could win it because it is giving a bearish candle. But if you want to become a good trader, patience is key. You don't get in the trade just to get in a trade. You get into the trade because the trade is ready for you to take. Okay, don't get into a setup just because hey, oh, it's given an arrow or it's given an indication like, oh, I should get in right now, I should get in. No, 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 no. That's what I call FOMO. Like, and you guys know what FOMO means, right? Fear of
Fear
missing
of being
out.
left out. Oh yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
fear of missing out. So the market is 24/7, guys. You are not missing out on anything. All you have to do is be patient and you wait for your setups. If you can be patient, like I want to say, I don't know, I guess 99% of trading is being patient for your setup. But if you could be patient, if you could master your emotions and take your emotions out of trading and just be strategic and follow the strategy and what to look for and just be patient and wait, the market will give you the setup. It always does, every day. It does. It gives you the setup every day, just depending on what time it'll give it to you, but it will give it to you. You just have to be patient. So right now, I would pass this. I wouldn't even keep looking at this anymore because I don't want to take the trade coming down for a sell. I'm looking for a buy. Okay, so let's move on to USD CAD, see what that looks like. All right, so we've obviously, it looks like it already left the boat. Okay, it's gone. But that was a good setup. Okay, that was a good. The reason why this is a good setup, because check this out. Remember, 10% of the time it's going to come out of the Bollinger Bands. And I don't know, I don't really know how he's setting this up, why it looks like this, but these are the Bollinger Bands. And 10% of the time, it doesn't matter where the EMA is. If it pops out like this, most of the time, 10% of the time, when it pops out like this, it's gonna automatically do a reversal. Okay, like, and you could see it right here. It automatically did a reversal. And that's most of the time. I want to say 90% of the time it'll do a reversal. And then that 10% of the time it'll have a small trend. Okay, and that'll get a lot of traders because they're waiting for, especially if their strategy is on reversals, and that'll get a lot of traders like right here, like how it came over here, and then it popped out right here. So if you took the trade here, it still had a small trend, like it still wanted to go down. So it didn't reverse. It still needed time. I mean, look how much time you needed. So that would be like, so if you're following this strategy and you're only doing 3 minutes, you're gonna pass the 3 rollover rule, definitely, especially if you wanted to win this trade. Okay, but since the EMA is on top, we're going to be looking for sales. So over here, I'm giving you an example how it popped out really quick. Like that is a long wick right here. When it does that, when it gives you a long candle and it pops out of the Bollinger Band like that was a big, that movement must have been really fast. And when it does that, that's like, I call that a spike. So when it spikes like that, I would have taken, like if I'm looking at it and just studying it and I see that spike real quick, I would have taken that spike. Um, I don't recommend that for new people, people that have been trading for a while. Like my eyes are used to seeing movements like this. So when I see it, I get into it. I know what it is. I know it's just a spike out. And if it spikes, it's a great position if you get in at the end. And 9 out of 10 times it's going to reverse on you. So when it spikes out like that, and same thing, it'll spike out up top here. It'll give you these long candles where it'll just start spiking. So those type of spikes, I do trade on my own. I don't like calling those out, but when I am trading live by myself and I see stuff like that, I would definitely get into it. But I don't normally get into a 15-minute trade. The spikes are usually like 3 minutes to a minute, like because the spikes are so fast, they move really fast. Okay, so but if I'm going for a traditional trade, if it's not the cash trap and I'm doing a traditional trade, I will do 15 minutes. So if I'm looking at this, the EMA is on top, it's a downtrend, so I'm going to be looking for sells. Okay. And for when I get in for a sell, I'll do it for 15 minutes. That's if I'm using my strategy, the 15-minute strategy. Using the cash trap strategy, it's a 3-minute trade. So let's move on. I just want to see the USD CAD. Let's look at the strength real quick. Refresh the screen. USD CAD. Okay, so CAD has
Quick
4
question.
bars. CAD has 4 bars. What'd you
Hey,
say?
quick question.
Go ahead.
Quick question. Yeah, on this strategy, so are you looking at 5 minute to enter the trade, or do you
The
still look
cash
at
the
1 or
cash trap
3 minute?
strategy.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you're using the cash trap strategy, um, what I mean, you don't even need to do trading view if you're just looking at the cash trap strategy. You can just use what they have here, but you want to check the strength meter to make sure it's going in the same direction. So if it's going in the same direction and you're using the cash trap strategy, all you're doing is looking at the cash trap chart. So and then you take a 3-minute, but like I said, you want the timer on. So if you get into a trade, don't get into a trade where if there's 30 seconds left in this candle. You want to wait to a brand new 5-minute candle opens and wait for a brand new arrow to appear. Once that arrow appears, you're going to look at the bottom of the arrow, which this is the top of the arrow, but it's, you know what I'm talking about, where it's the
Right.
end of the
Yeah.
arrow. So look at the end of the arrow, and that price point is 902, the last 3. So 902, I mean, it already passed, obviously. It already passed that. But it's saying that their entry price was 892, but that's the middle of the arrow. His technique, he always says, go with the number that is behind the arrow. So if it's pointing up, you want to look at the number behind the arrow. And if it was pointing up, that would have been 881, around there. So you want to wait for a pullback.
Okay.
Okay. But right now, see, look, it's giving another arrow, and we're looking at 999 to get in. So USD is weaker than CAD. So this is a good setup right here, a sell. So let's go ahead and see what the payout is. Remember, I do not take trades if it's less than 70%. If it's less than 70%, it's not even worth taking. So let's go ahead and look at this. And yeah, so it's 60%. It's a good setup, but it's only paying out 60%. And that is not okay with me. I don't like 60%. 70% or higher, I recommend getting into because the payout is worth it. Okay. And it called out, like I would look for a 999. Actually, the arrow just moved again, and it's at 965. So let's see, 965. Okay, so you know what? Just to do, I'm gonna just do $1, and just to show you 3-minute, and I'll just take this trade at what I take it at 955. So it wasn't the number that I would want to take it, if you got into this trade and it pulled back like right there. Dang it, it didn't give me what I really wanted. Okay, so I got 955 and I got 956 at 3 minutes. Okay, and this, oh, there's another one. Okay, so it's pulling back. 972, way better entry. Okay, so it's still giving the arrow. Now let's look back at the right here. So it's still giving the arrow. Obviously, it's given a pullback, and we're within the 5 minutes. I didn't take the trade in the in the beginning of this candle when it first started. So I will roll over any entries that I feel like probably won't make it because I didn't do it from the beginning of the 5-minute candle. Okay. So, but it's a good setup because we're looking for sells. It's below the EMA. It's a cross down on both the RSI and the stochastics. It's a cross down. It looks good. It's giving the down arrow. So let's go ahead and check out the trade. Let's go back. And all three are in profit right now. You guys can see that, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So
Yes. Mm-hmm.
so this obviously once it hits a certain time where I think it's like a minute left, I will not have the rollover feature anymore. So if it spikes up and I do not have the rollover feature, then I'll probably just lose this trade. But right now it's still looking pretty good. It's in profit. If it continues to go in that direction, and we just followed the steps with the point system, so we have a solid, you know, we have 1 point for the strength, 3 points for the arrow, 1 point for both the RSI and stochastics. So we're at like 5.5 points, which this would be considered an awesome trade.
So just to clarify, so you don't really, so once you enter, you just enter on the 5 minute. You don't really go back on the 1 minute chart or even the 3 minute chart to make sure your entry is correct or not.
Are you talking about TradingView?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah. No, it's if I'm using the cash trap, and I really don't go into the trading view if I'm using cash trap because it's his strategy, and if I'm looking at trading view, like say let's just go into trading view right now. Oh, by the way, I did win all 3 of those right at the last minute, so that's awesome. Let me just make sure you can go. Yep. So I did win all 3 of those trades, which is pretty cool. And that was using the cash trap. So let me go back to TradingView, and we were looking at USD CAD. So let's go ahead and look at USD CAD. So if I'm looking at my strategy, it called out right here at 997. So if I'm going back and I use my strategy, I'm going to take a 15-minute trade, and I would have taken that trade at around 996, 997 if it gave, if you know, if I could get that's the number that I want. Once it hits, see this pink line right here? When it gives this pink line, that means it's giving out a strong resistance and support, okay? It's telling you that there is a strong resistance and support at these levels, all right? So if it hits that point, that I definitely want to get in for a reversal trade, all right? I would have taken that for a 15-minute trade right there for a sell. And this would be my strategy. That's how I would do it. All right, you guys understand that?
Yes. Yes, I'd like to know if I could ask a quick question. How long did it take you to get your strategy down that you felt comfortable with, that you had it down pat?
Um, I want to say a good, like once I had the strategy down to really get it, um, it didn't take me long at all. Like I want to say I was doing this strategy. I stopped looking at go lives. I mean, I still go on go lives. I like to, I don't do it as often as I used to because now I trade on my own more often. But it took me about 3 weeks nonstop. I would put in, because I work from home. So I I mean I would be on the computer just practicing and practicing and practicing, for hours. I mean, I would put in like 5, 6 hours a day, just trading nonstop for 3 weeks. And that's when I got really good just with this strategy that I'm showing you right now, that with the 15-minute strategy. And I really enjoy this strategy because it I don't know, I've had a lot of success with this strategy right here. And obviously you see that just looking at this with the 15-minute candle, I would have already been in profit, so and it's giving you the signals. And one thing that I added to this, like you're seeing the green and you're seeing the red. So for this strategy, one thing that I would add, that to make this even better, what you're seeing is the VW Binary Pro 3. And all I did was I changed up a couple things on the settings. So if you guys are looking at ECB S200 and you were looking at it, one of the things that I changed, I believe it was the length. I put in 20. I don't know what the default was, but I think that was the only thing that I changed was the length. Other than that, I left everything as is. Um, let's see. Yeah, I didn't take anything out on the style, but the VW, when you download it, you're gonna have all these selected. I took out all of this. The only thing that I needed on this strategy was the plot right here. It's the pink lines and the shapes, the plot here, and that was it. That's all I'm using. It has all this extra stuff that you don't need. It's just fluff. I call it fluff, and it just clutters your chart. So all I needed was 5 indicators inside this strategy, so that it will just give me my triangles, the red and the green, on where I would go into a trade. Okay, so if I'm looking for sells, I'm looking for my red triangles to appear. Sometimes I don't even wait. I already know because it's going to hit my resistance. So if it hits my resistance, I really don't need to wait for my triangle to appear. I would just take the trade because it already hit it. Once it hits it, I would get in for 15 minutes. So 5, 10, 15, that would have cleared. Those are beautiful trades. Now it gives me another resistance line. So if you take this out, so just with my lines, my support and resistance, if it hits my resistance line, I'm going to take that trade because that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for a sell, okay? Because it's below the EMA and I get in for 15 minutes, 5, 10, 15. I totally clear that. All right.
Sixto,
Yes.
um, so I am a little confused at the moment because I know you mentioned that it is more risky to take trades when it's in the middle. Could you
Okay.
clarify?
Yes. And what I mean about the middle, so if we're looking when it's like going sideways. Okay, this is nice and open. Okay, this is nice and open right here.
Uh-huh.
When it's going sideways, okay, and when people say sideways, it looks like this. Let me just zoom out. Okay, so when it's going sideways like this, I try to stay away from taking trades in the middle. Like I don't, for me personally, I do not feel comfortable taking trades in the middle because it can go either way. You know, I can't really predict what it's going to do when it's in the middle of the Bollinger Band, because this black line, the middle of the Bollinger Band, the black line also acts as a resistance and support line. Okay, so when it gets to this black line, it could either stop, reverse, or it will break through this black line of the middle of the Bollinger Band and come up. Okay, and one of the reasons why I do not like to take trades in the middle when it's going sideways like this, because one, I'm looking at the EMA as well. I'm looking for sells. Okay, so even though it hit, it's real close to the middle right here. It hit, and 5, 10, 15, I probably wouldn't have cleared that, this one right here. So if I took this sell right here, because it's already going sideways. Now this one right here, this is a clear indication that you're in a downtrend. So if you're in a downtrend and the EMA is on top and you're looking for sells, even though it pulled back, if it pulls back, all it's trying to do is correct itself. But we already know that it's going with the strength meter, okay? Because CAD was stronger, so that means USD should be going down, okay? So it should continue to go down. So I would definitely take these trades, even though it's in a trend, it's on a bearish trend, but we already know it should be going down because it's going with one, it's below the EMA, so we're looking for sells. And two, the strength meter is telling us that the US dollar is weaker than the Canadian, so it should be going down. So we're just going to continue to take sells when we see the opportunity. See, now, if you look at it right now, how the Bollinger Band starts curving. If you see that right there, it starts curving now. So it looks like it wants to start becoming just like this right here. When it starts curving, it wants to go sideways. But when it gives you a clear indication that it is a bearish trend and everything's lining up to where you're looking for sales, then you take that setup. You understand?
Okay, that makes sense.
Okay, awesome.
What does those check mark mean?
The check marks, when these appear, all it's saying is that the green is the support. That it's saying that there is a strong support, and the price should stop at that point and then continue sideways. So if it gives me a check mark, a sell check mark, it's saying that the resistance here is very strong. All right. So if I turn on VDub again. So VDub, remember what I said about the pink line? The pink line appears with VDub, and the pink lines indicate a strong support and resistance. So if I turn it off, the check mark actually confirmed what the VDub strategy just told me, that there is a strong resistance. So the check mark, all the check mark is giving me is another indicator, like, oh wow, this really is a strong resistance. So it will reverse. That it's saying, it's predicting it will reverse and continue going down because we're looking for sells.
Got it.
All right, guys. So I'm 3 for 3 tonight. So let's look for another trade. I want to, what do you guys want to do? You guys want to practice with the Cash App, or do you guys want to practice using the Trade
Cash
View?
trap.
Okay, Cash Trap.
Yeah.
And I vote for your strategy.
Okay.
We could do both.
I was just about to say that. If that's okay with you, of course.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I don't know how much time I have left. I think it's less, yeah, it's less than 10 minutes. So this will end soon. Once it ends, I'll give you guys another invite, but I don't want to stay too long because the wife wants to spend time with me. So, all right. Hope you guys understand.
Definitely.
Sure thing.
Happy wife, happy life. Isn't that what they say?
That's right. That's right. All right. So let's go to Cash Trap real quick, and let's see if we can find. Are you guys ready to trade? Do you guys have? Are you guys your demo account or
I'm
anything?
ready.
Like, okay, awesome.
I'm ready to go. I'm up and ready. I took the
Davina's
trade.
always ready.
I took that trade with you and cleared it.
Oh, awesome, awesome. That's awesome. Okay, so let's look for, with the cash trap, I'm gonna look for trade ideas real quick. Right now we're looking at USD CAD. Let's check the strength, see if it changed. USD CAD, CAD is still stronger. Okay, so if we're looking for a setup, I'm looking for a sell. I would rather see that arrow going down. So let's look for something else. Let's go to Euro.